I'm Oliver. Today we're going to talk about what your anger is really hiding. So let's talk about an emotion that every man knows intimately: anger. Think about the last time you truly lost your temper. Maybe it was in a traffic jam, over a minor mistake at work, or during a silly disagreement with your partner. The trigger was small, but the reaction was huge. A flash of heat, a clenched jaw, a torrent of words you later regretted. Afterwards, when the adrenaline fades, you're left with a sense of shame, confusion, and the damage you've caused. You ask yourself, why did I get so angry over something so stupid? For many men, anger feels like a core part of who we are. It's the one strong emotion society has always permitted us. We're taught that sadness is weakness, fear is shameful, but anger is powerful. It's masculine. But what if I told you that most of the time, anger is not the real story? It's a mask, it's a secondary emotion, a bodyguard that rushes to the front line to protect something much softer and more vulnerable underneath. Today, we're going to look beneath the surface of what psychologists call the anger iceberg. We'll understand what your anger is really telling you and learn how to work with it, not just suppress it or let it explode. This understanding can change your relationships and your relationship with yourself. The iceberg is a powerful metaphor. The tip of the iceberg, the 10% that everyone sees above the water, is anger. It's the shouting, the clenched fists, the sharp words. But the massive hidden 90% of the iceberg, the part lurking below the surface, is the primary emotion. This is the real reason you're upset. And this primary emotion is almost always something more vulnerable. Think of anger as the guard dog of your psyche. When does a guard dog bark the loudest? When it feels that something it protects is being threatened. Anger works the same way. It erupts to protect you from feelings you were taught are unacceptable, like hurt, fear, disrespect, or helplessness. Boys are taught to immediately convert vulnerable feelings into an acceptable masculine display: anger. This becomes an unconscious, automatic habit. So, how do you decode your anger? You have to learn to ask yourself, what is my anger protecting right now? Let's look at the most common triggers. The first and most common trigger is feeling disrespected or unheard. This often happens in relationships. Your partner criticizes you, dismisses your opinion, or doesn't seem to value your contribution. The feeling underneath is hurt. It's the pain of feeling insignificant or unappreciated. But for many men, saying that hurt my feelings feels incredibly vulnerable, almost impossible. It's much easier and feels safer to get angry. Anger creates distance and puts you in a position of power. How dare you talk to me like that? Feels stronger than it hurts when you say that. But the anger is just a shield for the hurt. The second major trigger is feeling out of control or threatened. This happens when you face uncertainty. You might be worried about losing your job, about your family's safety, or about a health issue. The feeling underneath is fear or helplessness. You feel powerless against a situation. Admitting fear can feel like an admission of failure for a man who is supposed to be the protector. So the brain converts that fear into anger. This creates a temporary illusion of control. It's a way of discharging the anxious energy of fear without having to acknowledge the fear itself. The third trigger is when you face a failure or a mistake. You missed a deadline. You made a bad financial decision. You let someone down. The raw primary emotion here is often shame or deep disappointment in yourself. Shame is an incredibly painful feeling. The sense that I am bad or I am a failure. The Be a Man programming tells you that failure is not an option. So, to escape the pain of shame, the brain lashes out in anger. You might get angry at the person who pointed out your mistake, or you might turn the anger inward into brutal self-criticism. Either way, anger is being used as a distraction from the deep pain of feeling inadequate. So once you start recognizing the real feeling beneath the anger, what do? It's a four-step process. Step 1. The 4-second pause. Anger is a fast reactive emotion. It originates in the amygdala, the primitive lizard brain. Your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, is slower. When you feel that flash of anger, you need to consciously create a pause. Just 4 seconds. That's it. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. This tiny window of time is often enough for your rational brain to come back online and stop you from an immediate destructive reaction. It's your emergency brake. Step 2. Ask what's underneath. In that 4-second pause, ask yourself the critical question. Okay, I feel anger. But what's the real feeling here? Am I hurt by what was just said? Am I scared of what might happen? Am I ashamed because I made a mistake? You are becoming an emotional detective. You are looking for the primary emotion that the anger is guarding. Step 3. Communicate the primary emotion, the advanced move. This is the hardest but most transformative step. It requires courage. Instead of communicating the anger, you try to communicate the vulnerable feeling you uncovered. This completely changes the dynamic of a conflict. For example, instead of anger, I can't believe you'd criticize my work in front of everyone. Try, hurt. When you criticized my work in that meeting, I felt really hurt and disrespected. The first is an attack that will provoke defensiveness. The second is a statement of your feeling, which invites empathy and understanding. It's the difference between starting a war and starting a conversation. Step 4. Find a healthy physical outlet. Anger creates a real physiological surge of adrenaline and cortisol. This energy needs to go somewhere. Suppressing it isn't always healthy. You need a way to discharge it that doesn't harm you or others. This is where physical release comes in. Intense exercise is one of the best tools. Go for a hard run. Lift heavy weights. Hit a punching bag. This allows you to process the physical energy of the emotion in a safe and constructive way. Anger is not your enemy. It is a messenger. It's a loud, often clumsy, but fiercely loyal messenger trying to tell you that a deeper boundary has been crossed, a deeper need has been ignored, or a deeper wound has been touched. For years, you may have had only two options: suppress it until it made you sick, or let it explode and damage your life. But now you have a third option. You can learn to listen to it, to pause, to look underneath, and to understand the real message it's trying to deliver. Learning to understand your anger is one of the most profound journeys a man can take. It's the path from being a slave to your reactions to becoming the master of your emotional world. True strength is not the power to lash out. It's the quiet courage to look within. What does the anger iceberg look like in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're ready to continue building a more powerful and authentic life, make sure you subscribe.